Hello and welcome to my show. I'm Devon. I am extremely tired and stressed out, but I thought I should do this show. The show must go on, and I've been really bad because I did do a vlog, the car vlog, earlier this week, but uh, I went over it and I wasn't in the right mindset, and I was just exhausted. And I enjoy my car time now for me to just like recoup and regenerate all the stuff I need to focus on for work. It's been ridiculously busy at work, and I knew it was going to get this busy because of all the titles we have coming up, specifically Prototype 2, which we are doing some massive stuff with. For those of you who don't know, we're doing a new competition that's never really been done before definitely not in our household, and we're quite excited to see the results of it. So hopefully it's up the same time that this vlog is up, so you'll definitely hear about it. It's to do with the MRSA virus, so check that out. It'll be on our Facebook page, so go and be a fan there. It's really cool, and tell us what you think about it, because we're really always trying to find new ways to interact with our fans and make sure that we are talking to you guys on that sort of level, where you get to interact. Because at the end of the day, like I keep on saying, we're gamers as well. We want to be challenged. We want to achieve certain things, and we want to be rewarded for those challenges. So I'm going to get into Prototype a little bit more. What I really wanted to speak about today was an article that I originally saw on Lazygamer. It came from CVG, and it was from Jade Raymond. And basically the title was, she believes that games nowadays need to grow up and be more mature. Now, we've spoken about mature games and how violent they get. In fact, our demographic shows us, or our research shows us, that gamers are generally, our core gamers are between the ages of 18 and 36. And we see games all the way, that progression is now following that trend, because, a lot of people grew up with games as in the very beginning or early stages, when things like Pong were out, My father, for instance, he still plays games. I give him loads of games. He plays Modern Warfare 3 and Far Cry. He loves the crap out of them. So, and there was a recent story on GameZone TV. There's another dad there that's been playing the Modern Warfare 3 League with his son. So, there are older people playing these games, but, they're not necessarily looking at the game from an immature perspective. But regardless, what the article, when they talk about mature, they talk about mature themes or adult themes, so complex stories that need to be involved in games. Now, if you think about it, there have been a couple of games where there is an intriguing story and an epic sort of line that goes through. It's that thread of a story of what the story is about, what the game is about. So it's not just about playing the game and getting to those achievements. It's about discovering what the story is about, discovering something about your character or the characters involved in the game. Now, we often see it in game reviews where people will say, I didn't feel that emotion towards a game character. And it's true. Whereas in movies, we go to watch a movie to be entertained, but it's a very one-sided sort of avenue, if you will. It's we're being told a story, and this is how it plays out. Whereas in games, it's a little bit different. It's more interactive, and we get told a story, but we also get to be part of the story. So that's really where gaming has its own sort of unique ability to really engage with its users. And a lot of the time, I feel like there are a lot of games that fail to engage the user into this game. In most instances, you're just playing a game that has no substance to it. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying there's a lack of that in the industry. And it's a real shame, because there are some really good stories out there that warrant it. I mean, lots of games have really attacked that sort of franchise, or that genre of storytelling, of artistic narration. And things like Rain. Rain was an epic story thriller type of game that kept you engaged, and they didn't really focus on the gameplay. Well, the gameplay was an important part. It engaged you as a player. You had to interact with the story to unfold the events. And what was nice about Rain is that you get to choose your own path. So your story was different to somebody else's. And we don't see enough of that. There's a lot of games that claim to have different stories and lineages. I mean, Mass Effect is another good example. They have different paths, and they've tried to intertwine it with all three of their their game. So you start off from the beginning and you have your journey that you travel through, and depending on how you've reacted in certain situations, you create your own story. But what I also feel is a problem is that a lot of people don't remember the stories that they're given. For me, example, I'm terrible at remembering stories. Some of the times I just get so engrossed in what's going on in the action, and I lose track of what's going on in the story. Yes, I understand what's going on, but I'm not absorbing the story enough to say, really get involved and go, wow, that was incredible. For me, and I gotta be honest, Gears of War was like that for me. Gears of War was not an enthralling story. I didn't engage with the story. I didn't know what it was. For me, the next thing, it was just killing the next Lambent and moving on with my buddies and playing co-op, and especially co-op. And that's another thing I have with co-op and story games. I believe story games should be single player experiences. Play them with your buddy and go there. When you have a co-op game, what tends to happen is you're not following the story, you're following the chatter with your friends. So co-op is another debate, but I truly think that story games need to remain a single player adventure. And I hate the fact that a lot of single player story games are now trying to add this multiplayer component to try and get more fans to buy the game and that longevity of it. And it's really sad that we as a society see it that way. But it really should be taken into credit of what the story is about. That's why we want to be part of it. We want to be part of the story. Mass Effect was really cool. I did enjoy the story. I understood what was going on. But then what I did feel like is that was, I think it's a key thing with RPGs. Sometimes there's too many side quests, and those side quests sort of divert you away from what the main story is trying to tell you. And I think it takes a different type of person. You need to be that RPG type of person. You need to be that person who understands how an RPG works. Games like World of Warcraft are those massive games, but I mean that really is you engaging into an entire world and creating that world for yourself and creating your character. And it takes a lot of involvement from your side as well. So when we talk about mature titles, we're talking about, not necessarily blood and guts. We're not talking about these 18 language sex and violence type of games where they really think, if I think about mature content, I think about The Witcher, which is like that. It's no holds barred. There's swearing, there's language, there's sex in it, there's nudity. It's all there, and it's very in your face type of content, and it's trying to be very realistic. But I think when like what Jade Raymond is trying to say in terms of a mature game is that we need to create another level in the gaming industry where the story is becoming more important about that it's that story layer that people need to go over. That's why we want to engage with the game. That's why we get excited about the game. That's why we talk about games. Games like your usual first person shooters like Modern Warfare 3, although in my opinion I enjoyed Modern Warfare 3 single player. But then I think about why I enjoyed the Modern Warfare 3 single player. It wasn't necessarily because of the story, and that's where its weak part was. It had a good story. I enjoyed the story, but I didn't engage with it in that story. I enjoyed it because it was literally, as Jade puts it, a Michael Bay flick. It was explosions and everything happening all at once, and I'd get through a chapter and go, oh wow, I cannot believe I got through that level. And it was really that sense, that adrenaline rush that I got from it. But that's a different type of storytelling. Games like Assassin's Creed, the ones that Jade and the Ubisoft team have been working on, they've always had a very strong storyline going, and they get your assassin involved with it, and it doesn't really stray from what your objective is or what the main storyline is. And they've always tried very much to intertwine each of the stories, linking them back and forth, and bringing Ezio and what was the other guy? Desmond plays a vital role into the whole thing, and so does Ezio, as well as Altair. You link all of these characters, and it's very well thought out on how all these characters play their part. And I just remember going back, to the first Assassin's Creed. Yes, it was a very repetitive title. You were doing the same sort of assassinations all of the time, until the very end. But when you get to that end part of Assassin's Creed, and you watch that final scene play out, I sat back and I was just like, no way. I don't know how many of you played Assassin's Creed, but if you know what I'm talking about, it's that scene where Altair sits in front of the ruin, and he gets spoken to from the ancients as Desmond, and Desmond is now watching in the third person type of thing. That sort of thought pattern and how that integrated, that's the sort of maturity and level of storytelling they're trying to tell everybody. And that's one of the aspects that everybody got talking about. And that's when Assassin's Creed came out, Assassin's Creed 2. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I was like, what are they going to talk about now in Assassin's Creed 2? What is that ending going to be about? And that whole story unravels, and you get to be part of that experience. And I think it's very important. And I think gaming should be treated more like an art form. There are instances where games are just beautifully created and made with such precision and art and such care, and the storytelling is narrated so beautifully. And we've got script writers from movie studios creating awesome stories that are intertwined and linked to this and that, and you can go on your different paths, but you don't stray too far from the story. Guild Wars 2, coming out soon, is going to be an epic storytelling game in that sort of sense. And they've thought about it in such a diverse way, with all your races included, and not just your races, they take it down to your history as a character, and they build a story for you. So I don't think it's dead yet, and I think it is something that's very important for gamers. And I think the biggest mistake that gamers make is they just go all out and buy anything that they want to, and that sort of kills it for them. So you need to be more selective about the games that you play. There was something else I wanted to it is picking up. I know that for me, I mean, I've been lucky enough to play a lot of Prototype 2. We've got code in the office, so we've been checking it out, and it's unbelievable how much more story-driven the game has become. In Prototype 1, it was just an epic game, and it had a good story. I loved the story on Prototype 1, how it unfolded and how the virus infected everybody. But now in 2, now you've got this whole emotional attachment with James Heller and having his whole family murdered by Alex Mercer, and now there's this collision of two mighty Prototype or Mercer virus guys. But the way they narrate the story is incredible. It reminds me of kind of like how Max Payne would narrate its story through its comic books. Yeah. But anyway, so I've spoken my head off on all of this stuff, and to end off, if you have any questions or if you have any comments about what you feel about games, please post them in the comment section below. I want to hear what you say. Remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Next time I'll hopefully be in my car. Otherwise, if you like this scenario, let me know. I'm thinking of some other ideas to do as well. But yeah, otherwise, keep awesome, stay gaming, chat to you soon. I'm sure everybody's had it where you think about the things that you've wanted to do before you get to 30.